Hey everyone, and welcome. If you've ever wanted to dip your toes into C++ but weren't sure where to start, you are in the perfect spot. Over the next few minutes, we're going to build your very first program from scratch, piece by piece. Ready to jump in? Let's do it. And this is our mission. Get the computer to print these two simple words, hello, world. Now, there's a reason this is the traditional first program for pretty much any language. It's like a rite of passage. If you can make this pop up on your screen, it means all the basic wiring is connected and working. So let's see how C++ gets it done. All right, so before we can tell the computer what we want it to do, we have to give it a basic framework to work within. You can kind of think of it like a skeleton. Every single C++ program, whether it's 2 lines or 2 million lines, is built around this exact same core structure. Okay, here it is. This is the boilerplate, the absolute minimum you need to have a C++ program. Now, I know it might look a little strange, maybe even a bit intimidating, but I promise, every single piece here has a really specific and important job. So let's break it down line by line. First up, that hashtag include iostream line. The easiest way to think about this is that you're telling your program, hey, I need to use a standard toolkit, specifically the input-output stream toolkit. This little line is what gives us the power to do things like, well, print text to the screen. Without it, the computer wouldn't know how. Next up, int main. This is the absolute heart of your program. It's the starting line. When you run your code, the computer scans the file and looks for main. That's its signal for where to begin. Everything you want the computer to do goes between those two curly braces. And finally, we have return 0. This is your program's way of saying mission accomplished to the operating system. It's basically giving a big thumbs up, letting it know that it ran all the way to the end without hitting any snags. It's just good practice. Okay, we've got our skeleton all set up. Now for the really exciting part. Let's put some meat on those bones. We're going to add the one instruction that actually makes the computer talk to us. We're going to fill in that empty space right inside our main function. This is the line that does all the heavy lifting. So let's dissect it. stdcout, you can read that as use the standard character output. Simple enough. Then you've got these two little angle brackets, LT, LT. That's the insertion operator. Just think of it like an arrow that's pushing our text onto the screen. And what are we pushing? Our hello world message, which always needs to be inside quotation marks. And what about that little symbol at the very end? The slide here puts it perfectly. The semicolon is basically the period at the end of a C++ sentence. It tells the computer, okay, that instruction is complete, move on to the next one. I guarantee you, forgetting the semicolon is the #1 mistake every beginner makes. Every single statement needs one. So let's trace the whole thing one last time. We start at the top, we include our IO toolkit, then we open up our main function, which is our starting block. Inside, we put our one and only instruction, use standard cout to print our message. And finally, we return 0 to say we finished successfully, and we close the main function. That's it, a complete, working, honest-to-goodness C++ program. Fantastic. But what if we want a little more control? I mean, our program prints the text, sure, but what about formatting? What if we want to manage things like line breaks? Let's see how we can tell the computer not just what to say, but also how to say it. So you've got two main ways to add a new line in C++. First, there's endl. It does exactly what it says. It ends the line. But it also does something extra. It flushes the output buffer. Think of the buffer as a little waiting area. Flushing it forces everything in that waiting area to be printed to the screen immediately. The other option is the new line character, /n. It just adds a new line, pure and simple. Because it doesn't do that extra flushing step, it's generally a little bit faster. And here's what that looks like in practice. You can see how standard.endl is just chained onto the end with another insertion operator, just like our text was. But look at the new line character, /n. That little guy goes inside the quotation marks, becoming part of the text string itself. For a simple program like ours, it honestly doesn't matter which one you use. Both work perfectly. Okay, one last thing. As our programs start getting bigger and more complicated, we're going to want a way to leave notes for ourselves or for other programmers. That's where comments come in. Comments are lines of text that the computer will 100% ignore. They're purely for human eyeballs. And you've got two main flavors of comments. For a quick short note, you just type 2 forward slashes, //. Anything after those slashes on that one line is completely invisible to the compiler. But if you need to write a whole paragraph, you can start a comment block with r/ and end it with /r. Everything in between those two tags is ignored, even if it spans multiple lines. So let's do a quick recap of our brand new C++ toolkit. In just these last few minutes, you've learned how to include a library, define the program's starting point, print text with stdcout, end your statements with that crucial semicolon, add line breaks, and even leave notes for yourself. These aren't just random rules. They are the absolute foundational building blocks for everything else you're going to do in C++. So there you have it. You've officially written your first instruction and made the computer listen. You now have the fundamental ability to tell a machine what to do. So the only real question left is, what are you going to tell it to do next? The possibilities are literally endless.